There he is. Thank you very much. And it's a shame we missed Ted's speech. But we're moving on tonight. We have the award categories, and I'm going to announce what they are. So we have the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. We have the Educational Awards. We also have the COT 1, that's for the first quarter, as Danny Banks has named them, the Magnificent Seven. We have an award for the 80/20 membership payments. We have a Membership Growth Award. We have the New Club Sponsorship Award. We have a Special District Directors Award for Teamwork. And finally, we have a special secret District 71 Special Recognition Award. So on with the show, and I'm going to pass back to Ted Corcoran to take us through the Distinguished Toastmasters for this quarter.
Thank you, Olga. The Distinguished Toastmaster Award is the highest award Toastmasters International bestows. The DTM recognizes a superior level of achievement in both communication and leadership. To earn the DTM, you're required to complete 2 learning paths, serve as a club officer for 12 months, participate in the preparation of a club success plan, and participate in a district-sponsored club officer training program. You need to serve a complete 1-year term as a district officer, serve successfully as a club mentor or coach, serve successfully as a club sponsor, or conduct a speechcraft or leadership program, and complete the DTM project. This evening, I'm happy to announce that 3 of our members have met the requirements and now Distinguished Toastmasters, one for the second time. First up is Distinguished Toastmaster Patricia O'Reilly. Patricia O'Reilly has been a long-time member of Toastmasters. She served as District 71 Governor in 2018, 2019, and is a past Region 9 advisor covering parts of Canada and the USA, finishing her term just last June. She is a member of Balbriggan Toastmasters, Drogheda Toastmasters, Society Toastmasters, and Molly Malone's. This is her second DTM award. Congratulations, Patricia. Next up is Distinguished Toastmaster Nigel Smith. Nigel has been a member of Toastmasters for 5 years. He is a member of the D71 Awards and Recognition team, and his clubs are Bullring Speakers Club and PMI UK Changemakers. Congratulations, Nigel. Third and final is Distinguished Toastmaster Tina Norbury. Tina has been a Toastmaster for 10 years. She is a member of 3 clubs: Bradford Speaks Toastmasters, Headingley Speakers, Strictly Speaking Harrogate. Congratulations, Tina. What an outstanding achievement by all 3. Give them a big round of applause. Back to you, Olga.
I was not able to spotlight Tina. Her camera wasn't on.
That's no problem, but you tried. Thank you very much, Ted. It feels like the Oscars tonight. So I'm going to moving on just to announce what educational awards that are going to be presented tonight. So we have Pathways Level 5 for all the people in the district who have got that amazing accolade. The people who have done the Pathways Mentor Award. We're going to recognize the Triple Crown recipients and the top performers in our district. So I now would like to pass on to immediate past District Director Brenda Lannon.
Thank you very much, Olga. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It's my great pleasure to announce the recipients of Pathways Level 5. And Level 5 achievement consists of obviously achieving levels or levels 1 to 4. So that would and 5 obviously itself, but levels 1 to 4 would encompass speech making, speech deliveries, finding out about your communication style, your leadership style, mentoring, and it's a fabulous achievement. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Perfect, thank you. There is one member that I would particularly like to mention, and Helen Kelly from Scotland, who was a member of Livingston Speakers and Stirling Speakers, achieved her level 5 in early July 23. And sadly, we lost Helen on the 13th of July, followed very sadly by her husband a week later, Cameron McConaughey. And both of these members, both Helen and Cameron, were hugely involved at district level, both in terms of being part of Danny Banks' club growth team. Helen was, and Cameron was a dedicated and committed member of the Zoom team. So it'd be lovely if we can just take a moment to remember these two very committed and dedicated members who we miss hugely in District 71. Thank you, Olga.
Thank you, Brenda. And can I ask James Finnegan is going to step up and do the Pathways Mentor Award.
Thank you, immediate past District Director Brenda and Olga. Toastmaster mentors provide a vital role in the support, encouragement and guidance to our members. Nowhere is this more important than in helping our colleagues achieve their pathway goals. So please join me and congratulate our latest District 71 Pathway mentors. Brian Murphy, Distinguished Toastmaster Gary Sander, Vicky Huffey, Keith Wallace, Akiho Sato, Christopher V. Sexton, Andrew Cullen, and Joanna Sarsfield. Now, please welcome to the virtual lectern, Director of Division E, John Cox.
Thank you, James. A number of districts around the world have awarded the Triple Crown to members who achieved 3 or more Pathways Education Awards in a single programme year. It can be put into practice by any district that chooses to recognise its members. Each district can identify the combination of education awards and other parameters that count towards the Triple Crown. Could I have the next slide, please? So far this year, 17 of our district's members have achieved the Triple Crown Awards, and their names are shown on this slide. I went on today and there are 2 additional ones as well that are not on this slide, and that is Brian Murphy and Charles Malone. I'd like to give a special recognition to Andrew Cullen for achieving 6 Pathways Awards, Vicky Huffey again for 6 Pathways Awards, and Joanna Sarsfield, who topped the list with 7 Pathways Awards. It must be a real challenge in their clubs to find a vacant speech slot. I'd now like to hand over to Satya Maraji and Olga Byrne, who will present the Top Performers Awards.
Thank you, John. So Olga and I have the pleasure of presenting the Top Performers Awards. So I'll be announcing the top performing division and area, followed by Olga, who will reveal the top club and top members. So the top performing division is Division, if we have the next slide, Division N, which is Paul Walsh. So very well done there. That is a Liverpool City Toastmaster, so I'm particularly proud of that one. And the top performing area, if we could have the next slide, please. Is Area 57, and that's Linda Crofton. So very well done there. Over to you, Olga.
Thank you very much, Satya. So I have the pleasure of announcing the top club. They achieved the most educational awards. And that top performing club is none other than Irish Life Toastmasters, from my fellow Dublin people. They are based in Dublin and their president is Keith Wallace. So well done. That's the most awards in this quarter. That's from July to October. So moving on to our top performing members. Well, we were going to do one, and then there were just quite a few who had a number of awards. So we've actually selected 4 who achieved between themselves. Each of them would have achieved either 5 to 7 educational awards in the first quarter. So those people are Andrew Cullen. And Andrew Cullen is from, excuse me if I pronounce it wrong, Cumulodunum Toastmasters. We also had Joanna Sarsfield, who is from Irish Life Toastmasters. We also have Shirley Gallagher, and Shirley is from Guardian Toastmasters. And we have Vicky Huffey, who's also from the same club as Andrew, the Cumulodunum Toastmasters. So well done. That was an amazing achievement. I mean, seven, some of you achieved 7. Really well done, and congratulations, and enjoy the recognition. And I would like to pass over to, if I can find my spot, is Danny Banks. And Danny is our current Programme Quality Control Director for District 71. Over to you, Danny.
Thank you very much, Olga and Satya. It's my honour to present these clubs with this award. They actually got all their 7 officers trained in the club officer training this year in June, July and August. Now, I just have to put a little rider to this. If there's anybody here from a club that's not on this list that got 7, we're still waiting for some of the results to come in, so please don't shout at me. These are the clubs that were up on the board 2 weeks ago. So I call them the Magnificent 7 because in our organisation, the clubs don't run themselves. It needs a dedicated group of people, the committee, to plan, to get things done, and to make our clubs what they should be, which is entertaining, improving, and educational. So without further ado, could I have the next slide, please? So these are the clubs who have achieved 7 members at 7 officers trained. And I will read them out. First of all, on my list, we have Tralee, International Orators, West Cork, Blarney, Mullingar, East Galway, Powder Mills, Fingal, Cornerstone, Corrib Oranmore, Stevenage, Phoenix Tara, Bandon, and Toastmasters for Golf. So well done all of those clubs and their committees for making sure that that happened. Thank you, because it sets you up for the rest of the year to become distinguished. President's distinguished. Let's not beat about the bush. President's distinguished. Thank you very much for that. And I would now like to pass over to Julie Kenny, who is going to talk about the 80/20 membership payments. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. So it's my pleasure to introduce the 80/20 membership payment awards. And this is because our clubs are nothing without our members, and our members want to return to these clubs with such enthusiasm. So 80% of the member base has renewed by the 20th of September in the following clubs. Strictly Speaking Harrogate Toastmasters, Elvet Speakers, Tara Toastmasters, Greystone Toastmasters, Phoenix Tara Toastmasters, West Hart Speakers, Toastmasters for Golf, Lucan Toastmasters, and Talking Heads Toastmasters. Congratulations to all of those clubs. I now hand over to Gerard Mannix.
You're on mute, Gerard.
Thank you very much indeed, Nigel. Thank you very much indeed, Julie. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It's my honor this evening to introduce to you the Membership Growth Award to the club that has registered most members since the 1st of July to the 30th of September this year. I checked this with regard to the dashboard today, and I found that that club has registered 14 new members, and the club is Elvet Speakers of Area 15 Division N. Congratulations. I would really love to know how you achieved that. It obviously is a recognition of a very excellent and attractive club. Thank you. Now I hand over to Phil Sturgeon. Please, Phil.
Thank you, Jared, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The new Club Sponsorship Award is in recognition of the vital role that club sponsors play in the delivery of the Toastmaster mission of establishing and growing new clubs. District 71 is delighted to recognise this important role by awarding the new Club Sponsorship Award to an individual whose energy and experience has contributed towards the growth of our district. It is my pleasure to award this year's new Club Sponsorship Award to John Cox for his work with establishing the No Excuses Online Toastmasters Club. Very well done, John. And I would now like to hand back to Jared.
Thank you very much indeed, Phil. So once again, fellow Toastmasters, it's my esteemed honor to introduce to you the District Director's Special Teamwork Award. These have been selected by the District Director, Elizabeth Jordan. They have been selected because of the exceptional contribution made to the district this year by these teams, especially including the district executive meeting and the district council meeting. The first team that I wish to announce the award to is the Zoom team. And this is of a special recognition to Sarenka Yenka and David Clinton. Just waiting on the slide to come for that.
Apologies, Gerard. We've got a mess up with the slides, unfortunately. The words are there, but they're not showing. I'm so sorry.
Okay, that is award number 1. Award number 2 goes to the parliamentary and credentials team. This is to Larry Lyons, our parliamentarian for the past 4 years. And Larry maintains a world standard of presenting parliamentarian duty to our district. Then we have the credentials chair, Pauline McCabe, also serving for the past 4 years as credentials officer beside Larry. Pauline expressed to me at the conference back in Liverpool that she really enjoyed doing that role and fulfilling it to her pleasure. It is a very busy role. We commend you on what you do. Then somebody new to the team is the election chair role. And this was filled by Nick Collins. Nick did a wonderful job at the election at our district council. So Nick has always been a stalwart Zoom supporter and graduated now to the election chair of election runner. So to both teams, and something that I heard a couple of years ago, it's an Irish word called mahal. It means a group, and how important it is to have groups working together. And indeed, both of those groups are exemplary in our district. Thank you and congratulations to both of them. Now it's my esteemed honor again to hand you on to Mr. Ted Corcoran, who will present the Special Recognition Award. Over to you, Ted.
Thank you, Gerard. The recipient of the Special Recognition Award this evening has been a Toastmaster for 13 years. Naturally, over the years, he's been a member of several clubs and has served in many club positions and also twice as an area director. Over the last few years, though, he has earned the reputation as not just being a two-timer, but a third, fourth, and even 20th timer, etc., at club and district events. Currently a stalwart member of Gorey Easy Speakers, I speak, of course, of none other than Matty Behead, whose call sign is "Have TikTok, Will Trap." His one aim as appointed District 71 timer, he says, is to help the district and clubs in every way he can. His willingness to help clubs, areas, etc. is remarkable. And this is recognized by the presentation of the Special Recognition Award to him this evening. Matty, you deserve this award so much, and it gives me great pleasure to announce on behalf of the district that it's been awarded to you. Congratulations. Round of applause for Matty. I hand back to Danny Banks.
Thank you very much, Past International President Ted. Now, it says on the agenda, vote of thanks and close. We're not going to close just yet. So I hate to disappoint you, that you're thinking you're just going to nip off now and have a cuppa or whatever. What we want to do, because we've finished a little earlier than expected, Olga, have you mentioned it to the three people that they're going to be doing this, or is this a surprise to them?
I have indeed. I've checked it with them and they're dying to come up and meet you.
Excellent. I'm pleased somebody wants to meet me. These days, quite a lot of people who just don't want to see me. If we could have, what we're going to do is we're just going to have a little few minutes panel discussion with the DTMs, because as Ted said, the Distinguished Toastmaster Award is the highest award, educational award you can get in Toastmasters. And it's an awful lot of effort over sometimes many years. It's not just speeches, it's being an area official. It's setting clubs up, it's running Speechcraft or youth leadership, mentoring, sponsoring clubs, doing a project that is going to help Toastmasters, help your area. So it's not an easy thing. And of all the Toastmasters in the world, the actual number of DTMs, off the top of my head, I don't know, maybe Ted can help me with this, but the number of people who actually get to DTM as a percentage of Toastmasters is very small. So it's a good idea, I think, to bring them onto the stage, and we'll just have a few little questions. They're not going to be difficult, so don't be shy, Nigel, Patricia, and Tina. Can we have them on the screen? Because I'm fed up of seeing myself here. Hi, Nigel.
Hi, Danny.
Hi. And are the others coming along?
Hi.
Yeah, hello, Patricia. Wouldn't be a party without Patricia. And Tina, welcome. Right. First of all, big congratulations for gaining the DTM. I know all three of you. I know Nigel and all the effort he's put in to Division E and the clubs in Division E. So, and I know that's replicated with everybody else, with Patricia and Tina. So, I'd like to ask you what you've actually got out of it. How have you personally developed from doing a DTM? Anybody would just like to start out?
I'll start if you like, Danny. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Patricia, go for it?
No, go ahead, Nigel, go ahead.
Okay. I think it sort of echoes some of the things that Ted was talking about in his opening speech. But for me, I sort of worked out for myself that I'm good enough, because pretty much all through the journey in life, we have these confidence crisis issues. So you've got this imposter syndrome. And fundamentally, when you put yourself out there and you get it and you achieve it, it was definitely one of the hardest things in life I've ever done, but ultimately rewarding. It was one of the few things where the destination was as big as the journey that took me there. But of course, the journey does continue. But what I did realise and learn about myself was that I can do this. I'm good enough. Other people have done it who I respect. And frankly, if they can do it, then so can I. So it's a bit of an inspiration. So that's what drove me, and that's what keeps me coming back basically every week now. I was doing it last night as well, but it's the gift that keeps giving, fortunately. And yeah, so for me, it was all about really finally recognising that I'm good enough and I've got it.
Brilliant. Patricia.
Well, along similar lines, Danny, is what Nigel has just said, and harking back to what Ted said at the beginning, it's about, you don't stop in Toastmasters from learning. You never stop. You always have that option to keep on going. And I think for many of us, what keeps us in Toastmasters is that we continue to grow on an annual basis. So for me, I already had my Distinguished Toastmaster Award in the legacy program, as we call it now. And there are many members in our district and across the world who have a lot more than just 1 or 2 DTMs, as we know. The reason that I decided to go for it in the Pathways program is because I felt that if I had a DTM in Pathways, then I could help other people in the district, especially in my club and the clubs around, who maybe have finished 2 paths, but just don't know how to go the rest of the way to get their DTM. And it also goes back to, I would say, that age is not a barrier. You can go for your DTM at any time. Age is never a barrier to achieving anything. For me, I'm doing a degree at the moment, so age is not a barrier. It's about pushing yourself and taking yourself a little bit further every time. But the great thing about a DTM is, and that's my dog that you can probably hear in the background, the great thing about a DTM is that it encompasses so many other things. You will learn about how to build clubs. You will learn what goes into that building club, because you have to be a club sponsor or a club mentor. You will probably learn about speechcraft because you can opt to do that. Your DTM project will give you an opportunity to do something within your club or your area or your district. So it pushes you that little bit further and gives you a little bit more inside knowledge into this organization and into our district. Thanks, Danny.
Thanks very much, Patricia. Don't worry about dogs. We love dogs here. Well, I do anyway. Tina, same question to you. What have you personally got out of doing the DTM?
I think for me, the first one was quite heavy going, because this is my second one. First one was quite heavy going because it was, I felt like I was learning. The second one, I felt like I was learning different skills. And with the Pathways one, I feel like now I was more comfortable, and it seemed to happen without, I just felt like giving back. And giving back, I ended DTM. I just found it quite fascinating to just continue giving back to an organization that has made me who I am. And I've grown. I've developed stamina to cut across different continents, where I can join a club anywhere and be a member. I'm a member in different continents, and I've enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and it's good to hear from all of you that the education and I, as a former teacher, I believe that education carries on. Sometimes when I was teaching, it never started, but that's another story. Education for us as adults is a never-ending process, so it's good to hear you do that. I'd like to ask you all just another question. You talked about what you get out of it. Do you believe, well, I'm sure you must, and know some examples of how it's helped you in your work, or Patricia, in your studies, or in your community work, any of you? What sorts of things have you been able to transfer from the DTM into that? Because I think that's important for people to know, that it's an educational process, but you also get lots out of it that are going to be relevant in your day-to-day life. So we'll start off with Nigel.
Okay, thanks, Danny. I can honestly say that the biggest thing isn't necessarily the speaking or the leading, but probably the listening. So I run quite large teams in the work that I do as a project manager. And one of the things I've learned to do working with my teams is two things really. One is to listen and actively listen like we do when we're evaluating. And the second thing I do is I'm always the one that speaks last, because by the time the conversation gets around to me, I sort of do a round robin thing in the daily stand-ups. The problems and issues that I think I need to solve are then solved by everybody else, and people like to be heard. And so fundamentally for me, it has been the listening part. And I think listening, empathy and curiosity are probably the three greatest values you can have as a leader. And I'm trying to develop all three of those. But fundamentally, the biggest one that I've learned on my journey in the real world, shall I say, outside of Toastmasters, is really to be a better listener. You know, Stephen Covey often says we don't listen with the intent to understand, we listen with the intent to reply. And that was me before I joined Toastmasters. But fundamentally now, I do listen to understand and pause and give that time to others. And the difference it makes is huge. People have a lot more respect for you. You can develop better relationships and better connections because people know that you're listening to them. As I say, they like to be heard. And so for me, that's been a massive revelation.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nigel. We'll go the same. We'll be traditional. Patricia.
Thank you, Danny. And again, I would echo what Nigel has said about that active listening. It's so important. But for me, it was more that it gave me the confidence, I think, in my work to be able to negotiate, which I've had to do a couple of times in my job, between different members in the office, for example. So I've been that person that has done that mediation between them. And I don't think I ever would have been able to do that, have that confidence, if I hadn't pushed myself to achieve the DTM. And also in work, it has enabled me to have the confidence to bring about change and to push that change through, while at the same time realizing that you have to listen to everybody else when you're trying to bring in a change that is maybe not as popular as you think it should be or as you want it to be. So again, it's that listening. And I think ultimately you asked me about my BA or my degree. I would say that speeches come into that, because how you craft a speech, the way that we learn how to craft a speech within Toastmasters has helped me when I do my assignments. And I craft my assignments in exactly the same way as I craft my speech. And of course, I have to recognize our past international president, Ted Corcoran, here, because he has that classic how to write the speech in 10 minutes, but that 10-point plan. And I use that very often when I'm doing my assignments. And I've never had any of my lecturers come back and complain about the layout. They've always said that it's a great roadmap and they can logically follow what I'm saying. So Toastmasters has given me that skill as well. And that's a skill that I have brought elsewhere into, I suppose, further education. So overall, I think it also helped me when I went as a region advisor to Region 9, because again, that was all very much about listening. And I had by then learned how to do that active listening. But also as a regional advisor, it's very much about being non-judgmental. And so I'd had to understand that as well and learn that skill. And I think doing all those speeches for your DTM, doing the various extra projects that you have to do, such as being a club mentor, club sponsor, doing speechcraft, doing youth club, a youth program, all of that together makes you into a person who becomes a better listener, less judgmental, and in my case, better at writing speeches and assignments. Danny.
Thanks very much, Patricia. And it's really interesting to hear you say that about you work as a student. If anybody on the call is a student, or if anybody on the call have got people who are involved with trying to set links up with universities. I know Nigel and I have been working for the last year with an ACTAS, which is a student body, and we've been trying to get through to them how useful Toastmasters is. So to have your testimony as a student is a brilliant way of trying to push it within the student body. So thanks for that, Patricia. And Tina.
Thank you very much, Danny.
It's okay.
It's given me the confidence to want to add value in each and every sector out there. And echoing on what you said about universities, I enjoyed developing a relationship with Bradford University where I coordinated the speechcraft, and they want us to do it every careers year because they enjoyed it so much. They were actually asking me whether it can be factored into their curricula in terms of extracurricular activities. And I found that very interesting because I just went there as a former student and said, well, do you want us to come and do? Well, I wanted to recruit members, obviously, for Bradford Speaks, and went there, and they enjoyed it so much. We had 30-something people attending that speechcraft and did a proper sermon, and they want us to do that every year. That confidence stretches as well. I found that now I did another speechcraft for business owners in the healthcare sector, because I felt that they need to understand how to do their audits. They need to understand to do their supervisions. They need to understand to give valuable feedback. And that is something that the business world needs. The final one, I did a youth leadership program for people who are on the autistic spectrum. Let them do it their way. Let them do the youth leadership program their way. It took longer than what was expected, but I let them do it their way. Very shy young people, but then all of them managed to present. One of them presented using sign language, but that was a speech because everyone understood. And I think it's given me confidence to just want to go out there and spread the word. Danny?
Well, thank you very much. And I hope that at the end of it, everybody who's on the call is inspired, if they've not already achieved their DTM, inspired to go on and do that because of all the benefits that Patricia, Tina and Nigel have outlined there, what they've got out of it. So if you think you can't do it, listen to what Ted said at the beginning about, well, when are you going to do it? And listen to what our DTMs, our recent DTMs, because they're only the first 3 this year. We're going to have plenty more. So, use that as a motivation. So thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Patricia. And thank you, Tina. And now I would like to spend a few minutes in conversation with our Special Recognition Award recipient, Matty Behan. Hi there, Matty. How you doing?
Hello, Danny. I'm doing very well. And thank you and everybody for that lovely award. I was totally taken by surprise. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, I mean, I've known you for quite a while, Matty, and I know how you're dedicated to Toastmasters and how you can be relied on. And I know, do they now call you Mr. TikTok because of your timer and your timing skills? I think that's a good. I think that's a good nickname for you, Matty.
Yes, that's true. Indeed. Yes.
So, what keeps you going? What keeps you doing all these things? Because I know you particularly enjoyed being a contest chair.
I do. I have 3 favorites. Although I like doing them all, I have 3 favorites: timer, contest chair, and Toastmaster at meetings. Them are my favorite. But all the others I do with just as much joy as well. I don't really,
Yeah. What do you enjoy? Let's say about contest chair. What do you get out of doing that? Because there can be a lot of hassle in it as well.
Yes, what takes the most effort is the pronunciation of names, but a lot of effort goes into that because one does not want to be embarrassing contestant by not being able to pronounce their name properly. And then there is a similar thing to being Toastmaster. You are actually introducing people to do the roles as you are introducing the contestants to their speeches. That's yeah, yes, I love being the contest chair.
I think
I did contest chair this year at the district final in Liverpool.
right. Yeah.
I did one contest chair over there.
I think that's a really important point you've just made about people's names, because I have terrible difficulty. I know since I've been on the DLT, I've had help from Brenda and from Anthony and from Patricia on pronouncing some. I have to say I have a lot of difficulty with English names, but you know, some of the names I have found difficult, and it's so important because your name is who you are, and you know, and if it's pronounced wrongly, then you do feel a bit put out. But so that's a good point to anybody who's listening who's got to run a contest. Remember the naming of people and some clubs. How long have you been a Toastmaster, Matty?
I joined in 2010.
2010. Oh.
Yeah, 2010. I joined the club here in Gorey. The Gorey Toastmasters that time, they were the Gorey Easy Speakers. And I have been in that club ever since. And I am also a member of the Shielding Speakers. So them are the two clubs that I'm in now at the moment. One online and one face-to-face.
And what are you looking forward to this year in your Toastmaster career?
Well, at the moment, there is a Toastmaster from Shielding Speakers, Philippa, and she's training me in to be a Zoom master. So I'm going to learn that. Next year, I don't know anything about the division. So next season, I'm going to see about becoming a helper to a division director and learn what the ropes are there with that. So that'll keep me going and still continue to do some timing as well.
Keep you busy.
Yes.
Along with that little dog of yours chasing after that. This is perhaps, I'll finish now, but I want just one last question. You've been in Toastmasters 13 years and you've done different roles. Why do you think people should join? What would you tell somebody who isn't a Toastmaster? Why they should join?
Excuse me. I think they should join if they at all feel not able to move about in a crowd, not able to speak in a crowd, and actually not knowing what to say in a crowd, perhaps at a wedding or any other, and an interview in particular there now. There's a lot to learn in the interview and how you don't use language like and can you just imagine an interview where you answer yep and yep and nope and so Toastmasters, I think, is fantastic. No matter how long you stay in it or how short you stay in it, you learn something. So you do.
Thank you very much, Matty. I think you've given us some really good things to think about there. Remember the names, remember about education, the role of education, Toastmasters. And once again, a big congratulations for receiving this award. And I look forward to meeting you again in the future at some stage. Yes. So keep going, Matty.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, now it brings me to the end of the meeting. I'd like to say a few words of thanks. first of all, I'd like to thank Olga and Nigel, because the ant and deck of the Toastmaster world, they have put so much effort into organising this, into bringing together the information. And if there are any mistakes in the information, it's not their fault. Part of it's my fault, but I'm big enough to take that. So an amazing thank you to them for putting this on. It's so important to recognise people. We do it at clubs, we do it at area, and I think doing it at district, this is the first one, and then we're going to have quarter 2 and quarter 3. I don't know if Olga and Nigel have been told that, but anyway, hopefully they have. It's not come as a surprise. It's so important to recognise people, and we've recognised some really good, hard-working Toastmasters tonight. We've recognised some really good clubs and some well-organised clubs tonight. So thank you for all the work in putting that together. I'd also like to always have to thank the Zoom master, Martin Farrell, who's been working away, making sure the Zoom works and I don't book things up. And also, again, thanks, Matty, for being timer, a role he does with aplomb and quality. So thank you. I'd like to thank all the presenters who have presented the awards tonight, the various awards. And it's, for me tonight, it has been a great celebration of everything that's gone on. We're only 3 months into the Toastmasters year, but we've got this success. We've got these clubs being successful. Now, what I want you to do, because I think tonight has been a brilliant night, and I think it's been a very great night of celebrating the success we've got in our district. When you go back to your club meetings, I want you to tell people about it. Tell them that we're going to have another one in 3 months. And if their club or somebody from their club is represented, get them down. Get them down to register and come to this and to celebrate as a district all the great stuff and the great people we've got in our district who are making, other people's lives better. When you set up a club, you are opening up opportunities to people who might gain a promotion, might do something more in their community, might feel better about themselves. And if you've opened that club, if you've introduced a member, if you've improved your membership, if you've got people along those levels, you are giving people chances, and that's what it's about. And tonight's a celebration of that. So please, 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 when you go back to your clubs, tell them about it and tell them that there will be another one and to look out for it and to make sure they're here to celebrate that success. So with that, I would like to thank everybody who's been involved tonight. I'd like to thank everybody who's won and all the clubs who have gained those awards. And I wish you all a great rest of the evening and the rest of Toastmaster year. So thank you and good night. You may leave now.
Bye all. Congratulations to all the.
Bye. See you, Femi.
Bye all. Bye.
Now, it's not that I don't like you, because I do. I like you all, but I've got another meeting to go to.
Same here, Danny.